Hello there and welcome, or perhaps welcome back to this channel, Mr. TraveLux. Hey there, so good to have you here for this video today, which is the top 10 questions that we often get asked at Reliant Destinations about which resort? Yes, the new and amazing Sandals St Vincent and the Grenadines. If we haven't had the pleasure to meet before, my name is Addison. I'm the founder and CEO of Reliant Destinations and 𝗏𝗏𝗏_Luxury.com. My team and I, we offer 100% complimentary concierge services, helping make your next trip to tropical paradise absolutely perfect. We work exclusively with Sandals and Beaches Resorts, and we're always honored to take you on whatever part of the journey you're on right now. If you are just hearing about Sandals for the first time, or if you're a many-time repeat customer that's not sure where to go next, we're here for you at any stage in that journey. In this video today, we're going to take 10 questions, the top 10 questions that we're often asked about this amazing resort, and we're going to answer those in sequential order. Of course, any questions you have, you can leave those in the comment section below, or of course, you can reach out. And we do, of course, encourage you to reach out if you want to make sure you're having the best service and, of course, the best deal available globally. You can reach out with any questions or to get the best deal at hello@reliantdestinations.com. Again, that's hello@reliantdestinations.com. We always say, if you're not reaching out, you might be missing out. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this top 10 questions about Sandals St Vincent and the Grenadines. Let's go. Question number 1 is, what sets this resort apart from other Sandals resorts? And of course, that's a very fair question. That's a great question. A few elements here. First and foremost, of course, this currently is the newest of the Sandals resorts. Now, if you are watching this video a little bit down the road, perhaps it is the second or third newest at that point, but as of the time of making this video, it is the newest in terms of the open Sandals resorts. Each resort with Sandals and Beaches is so different to the next. And that's why actually on our website, the one I mentioned at the beginning of this video, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏luxury.com, on that website, there is a tool actually, which is a find your best resort quiz. So maybe it's this resort or maybe a different resort that best suits your vibe, your travel style. There's a few questions that we have on a nice tool. It gives you an instant answer as to which resorts are best suited for what you're hoping to experience for your vacation. So this resort, of course, it is going to be the most modern of the Sandals resorts. It's going to have the newest amenities, and yes, it's going to have one of the higher price points, but best things do come at a premium sometimes, and for a lot of people, that premium is worth it to experience the height of innovation with Sandals. The next question is, are there any room categories that are exclusive to Sandals St Vincent and the Grenadines? And the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, all of the rooms here are rather unique. We do see some that are similar to some of the other recent builds and renovations. For example, some of the lower tier rooms at this resort definitely give a nod toward what we've seen at Sandals World Curaçao or Sandals Dunn's River, for example. However, there are some that are truly unmatched. A great example of this would be the awesome 𝗏𝘂 overwater 2-story Butler villas that are there at this resort. So these are the first of their kind. They hang over the water. Now, we have seen oceanfront and beachside villas at other properties before, but something like this, definitely not. These are massive, and they are 2-story, and they are independent private villas that come, of course, with that butler service that we see with some of the other top rooms and suites at this resort as well. Speaking of beachfront villas, there are some other amazing beachfront villas. So there are some, if you want to have a beachfront positioning, want to have that gorgeous ocean view, want to be literally steps away from that beach, and of course want to have your own private pool. There are a couple of different types that are exclusive to Sandals St Vincent and the Grenadines. In fact, here on the screen now you can see one gorgeous one. This is actually a suite that I stayed in myself during the grand opening of this spectacular resort, and right there along the beach where you can put your arms there on the side of this great infinity pool looking into the sunset. It's truly a spectacular experience, and for those that are wanting the best of a private pool, a large villa, great butler service, and of course having one of the most majestic positions you can in the resort, there are definitely some great options for that. Number 3, how remote is this resort and how long does it take to get from the airport to the resort? That's a question we get asked about most of the resorts very, very often. Okay, so this one is not going to be so close, but it's also not quite as far as some other ones, especially some of the further ones in St. Lucia and Jamaica, for example. So this one is going to be roughly 45 to 50 minutes away. It's not that bad. And in terms of the drive, it's very scenic. Most of it is there along the coast, and it's a great way to experience some of the local culture as you're passing through. So you get to see a little bit of the real island and the actual island life as you're going from the airport to the resort. It's not a super bumpy, super crazy ride. It does have some elevations it goes through, but it's nothing that's crazy and windy like we see at some other properties. So even if you are someone that you're worried about long car journey, I wouldn't suggest this is one that typically makes most people car sick. It's typically quite a relaxing, comfortable journey, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Of course, if you are prone to car sickness or motion sickness in general, it's always a great idea to take some motion sickness tablets with you, no matter what. Particularly, of course, if you are thinking to do some type of boat excursion while you are on property. The island itself is rather new to tourism, so something that you will definitely see here on this island is that on this island, there's not a ton of hotels and resorts. So there's a couple of more being built right now, but all in all, compared to most of the Caribbean, the tourist infrastructure is really not overbuilt. There are a couple of good, solid options for resorts and a handful of hotels here on this island, but it's not something where it's saturated or oversaturated for sure. So when you do go from the airport to the resort, unlike a lot of other destinations, what you're passing is mostly the local, real, authentic landscape of the island versus the built-up tourist infrastructure that you can see at a lot of other destinations. Number 4, what are some of the best things to do on the island? So Sandals Resorts is a partner with Island Roots Adventures, and this is a great time-tested, vetted, proven excursion company all throughout the Caribbean. It is a Jamaican-based company, just like Sandals is, and this company you'll find at all of the different places where Sandals operates. So Island Roots has a really good core offering of outside resort adventures that you can participate in when you go to Sandals St Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, I do recommend to book these before your trip. That's what we really recommend. However, you can book some on the spot as well if you have a free day and realize that you want to do something a little bit more adventurous than you had planned on. There is an Island Roots adventure desk there in the resort. But for our clients, for example, we'll send you a list of some of our top recommendations, and then beyond that as well, we send a link where you can pre-book whatever you want to make sure you have your preferred date and time for your preferred outside resort experience. As I mentioned earlier in this video, this island is one of the more untouched islands of the Caribbean. And because of that, it definitely allows for some really remarkable adventures. And I would say in terms of which ones are the most popular, the ATV experience for one is going to be a big hit. Lots of our clients have enjoyed that. I've even tried that myself. For those who wish for the true #1 scenic experience, there is the 𝗟𝗂𝗄𝗄 volcano hikes. And there are a few different formats of these that can be booked depending on the duration, the intensity of the hike, and which direction you're wishing to go and the time of day. There's a few options that you can pre-book on that, and that's a great way to see some of the cascading beauty, the natural landscape of this gorgeous island. And so that's something which I would say for those that are looking for something a little bit more adventurous and really want to get outside the resort and experience the true tropical beauty of this island, that is probably going to be your ideal experience to partake in. Number 5, does this resort have a private cove beach, a public beach? What's the beach situation here? Okay, so the way that this resort is situated is fantastic. It's situated between two, what I call mini mountains or cliffs. And the way it's situated, it means that it is a completely peaceful, private destination there. Now, you will find a couple of approved beach vendors that Sandals allows to come and provide some local cultural elements with you, particularly cultural crafts. But overall, you're not going to find a lot of panhandling here. You're not going to find a lot of people bothering you. The beach itself is pristine. The beach itself is peaceful and quiet, and it is indeed on a private cove. So for those that's your ideal beach environment, this resort will be perfect for you. Number 6 is a continuation from number 5, and number 6 is on this island, and in the resort in particular, are there volcanic black sands or is it white sands? Okay, so on this island, on lots of parts of the island, you will find some volcanic black sands, but here where this resort is in particular, and this beach, it's going to be gorgeous white sand. And so you can definitely, if you want to have that pristine, pure beach experience, you'll have that there. Of course, the sand is going to get darker the further you get out. So for example, if you are walking in the ocean, it typically is going to darken in color as you walk. Especially up at the top in the sitting area on the beach, that's going to be stunning white sand. Number 7, which restaurant at this resort simply cannot be missed? That's a great question because I'm a foodie, and so I'm happy to answer this question. And I know exactly what my answer is. My answer for this resort is going to be a dining experience called Bhutan. So this is something that is incredibly different to any of the other dining experiences across the Sandals and Beaches family. With Bhutan, what you have here is you have family dining. True Caribbean family dining. And this is going to be where you sit on log benches with others in the resort. If you're someone that's looking just for that, two-person meal, all the other restaurants will offer you that. But this is an opportunity to socialize and to try a whole variety of tantalizing dishes. Now, it can be difficult to get a seat here. I'm going to go ahead and just put that out there now. This is something where you want to book this as soon as you get to the resort. Okay, so as soon as you arrive, when you check in, get a reservation for this restaurant. There's only 4 tables, and on these tables, there's only 2 seatings for the whole night, and that's it. You want to experience this. And this is not something where you come and you even order from a menu. You sit and you see the chef in the open kitchen at the end of the table, and they will bring out dish after dish after dish after dish. And so for those who are true foodies like myself, you can try a whole bunch of different things. And you know what? Maybe everything is not for everyone, but even if one of you in the couple, for example, is a little bit of a picky eater, there's no problem with that whatsoever. Honestly, the person that I dined with last at this restaurant was a picky eater, and they found a lot of great things for them. And that's the beauty of having family style. You try something, if you love it, you go for more of it. If it's not so much for you, at least you try it. You can say that you experienced that dish. Number 8, how is the snorkeling and the scuba diving at this resort? Okay, so I myself am not someone that dives a whole lot. I dive occasionally. I have lots of friends that are dive masters, and that is just everything to them. So for those of my friends who have dived at this resort, they say it's absolutely perfect for them. They love the diversity at this resort in terms of the dive sites. So some of the dive sites at some different destinations, they can kind of all be similar to each other. Here at St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you have a lot of really cool dive sites. Probably the top 2 most popular ones at the moment is going to be the 𝗟𝗄 Reef area and then also Bat Cave. So if you want to have a good chat about the dive sites, that's something where you can do that, of course, with the Shack Dive Master when you arrive. And I do recommend, if you are someone that loves to dive, go as soon as you check in, head over to the Dive Shack and put your name down and go ahead and get what times you want booked up there. And in case you don't know already, diving at Sandals and Beaches resorts is complimentary. So as long as you have a PADI or other recognized certification, you are able to dive in the resorts a 2-tank dive free every day, part of your inclusions. If you are someone that you would like to experience diving but haven't done that yet, you have 2 options there. You can do a pre-certification back at home if you want. Most large cities in North America do offer this, so that's something you can do before you come. Or if you want, there is a sampler course, an introductory course that you can try. That does cost, but if you're someone that wants to experience that, you definitely can do that while in any of the Sandals resorts, including this one we're talking about now. In terms of snorkeling, of course, you don't need any certification for that, and every day you can go out on the snorkeling adventures, and that's something which you can fully experience and enjoy with no certification or training needed. Typically at this resort, it is about 2 different times a day that snorkel sessions are done. There's also some premium versions you can purchase, such as sunset snorkel, if that's something which you might like to experience. Number 9 is about weather. Always a good weather question for the Caribbean. And so this question is, what is the weather like in St. Vincent and the Grenadines compared to some of the other Caribbean islands? So in my experience, the experience of my clients, and also the actual statistics of the island's weather, all I can say is it's pretty steady here. So if we look at the weather of January through December, it's going to really be in the 80s pretty much the whole year. There's actually not a lot of temperature deviation that happens year round at this destination. So for those of you that like steady tropical climate, well, this is a great destination for you. Also, it has the advantage of its location. Because it is so south in the Caribbean, it's outside of the traditional hurricane belt. Does that mean it's spared from all storms? No, but it means that year-round, even in the times of year where other parts of the Caribbean might get a lot more rain and a lot higher chances for something like bad storms, whether it's thunderstorms or something bigger, for example, like a hurricane, this part of the Caribbean typically gets spared from those and gets a lot more lucky. So if you are going to go in that September, October time, you can actually find still great value in the Southern Caribbean, because a lot of people, they just steer away from the Caribbean entirely in this part of the year, which means that you can get better value if you go in the autumn, even though the weather is not going to be a whole lot different typically there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So basically all of that to say that the weather is fairly consistent. You will have a little bit of uptick in rain in the autumn, just like you will in any of the Caribbean islands, but all in all, it's a pretty safe bet to travel year-round to this island. The final question is this resort best suited for relaxation, for adventure, or what's the vibe? Okay, so the vibe of this resort, in my opinion, is really diverse, and it's a really nice vibe. So what we experience at St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a very large property that's not overbuilt. So the idea when building this property was to allow lots of space to feel the freedom of the property, to really enjoy it, to not feel like you're stepping on top of other guests. So there's a lot of space here, which of course gives way to a lot of privacy, a lot of romance, but there's also a lot of wonderful activities that happen. For example, whether you want a beach party or a karaoke night, these things happen. So there's definitely life to the resort. But the life to this resort is in select places in the resort, meaning that if you're someone who really prefers to just have the opportunity to get away a little bit and to relax and not have to worry so much about participating in a whole bunch of events, you can have that too. So this is one of those properties where you can have your cake and eat it too, and you certainly can choose what you want to participate in, and whichever style of vibe you want to experience for that day, you can find that here at this property. So this is not one property where it's really leaning one way or the other. I would say it's a nice hybrid right in the middle. So there you have it. Those are the top 10 questions about Sandals St. Vincent and the Grenadines answered for you. Any questions you have, as I mentioned before, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can reach out to my team and I at hello@reliantdestinations.com. Again, that's hello@reliantdestinations.com. Our services are 100% complimentary to you. And of course, I do recommend, again, checking out that tool on our website I mentioned earlier, which is going to be, of course, that personality selection quiz to help figure out which property is best suited for your Sandals vacation. But please do take a moment to like this video and subscribe for lots of more videos about sandals and beaches content. Thank you for stopping by this video today, and we hope to see you back here on the channel soon, and perhaps we'll even cross paths sometime in one of these resorts. Take care.